An NBA Hall of Famer had some pretty harsh words for new Minnesota Timberwolf Rudy Gobert. Tracy Mcgrady was recently a guest on Gilbert Arenas' podcast, and T-Mac did not hold back on Rudy G. He said, bro, this is what I be wondering. What are you doing in the offseason, dog? No BS. What are your workouts? What's your workout? Listen, I was so mad at Rudy the year that they were playing against the Rockets. Chris Paul was guarding him in the post. I was mad as ish. He couldn't do nothing. You are 7'2", and a point guard is guarding you. He has no moves. Man, I really do hate that. It feels like Rudy Gobert has just become the punching bag of a lot of these all-time greats. We often see Shaquille O'Neal making jokes at Rudy Gobert. I expect Shaq to make jokes with the bigs, but now to see T-Mac, a Hall of Famer, make jokes at Rudy G, it's like, man, here's my thing, right? I get what they're saying. Y'all got to realize who T-Mac is. Fresh out of high school, T-Mac really wasn't the greatest shooter, and he came into the league, and he worked and worked and worked and worked and became not only a good shooter, he became a great shooter. Many would argue for a couple of years stretch, it was T-Mac and Kobe. And Kobe would tell you, God rest his dead, if he were around, that in that mix, T-Mac had a strong case to be made that he was the better player of the two around 01, 02-ish. T-Mac was a guy that could literally put that body on you, that athleticism, that length, that strength. He was a super athlete, He was the real deal, Holyfield. Again, obviously T-Mac's body deceived him as he got later, later and later in his prime, and that's unfortunate. But you got to think where a guy like T-Mac is coming from. He looks at it as like, yo, my body just wouldn't cooperate with me. My game, though, I worked hard to get there. And he's mad at a guy, Rudy Gobert, which, for the last 4 or 5 years, I got to be real with you guys, Rudy Gobert has been a phenomenal defender. I actually think Rudy Gobert wins like Defensive Player of the Year awards because he fights on every play. He has a lot of energy on the defensive side of the ball because he ain't going to do that on offense. And he's just pretty much been a lob guy throughout his career that has been multiple times All-Star, again, multiple times Defensive Player of the Year. But if you're asking for that, if you're asking to see that offensive improvement, you ain't seen it. Now, in Minnesota, he probably won't need to be that guy offensively because you got Cat. But Utah needed Gobert to not only be a guy that could dominate the defensive side of the ball, but they needed two things. They needed Rudy Gobert to be able to face up and have some post moves, and they needed Donovan Mitchell to commit more to defense. Neither of those things happened, which is why Gobert's no longer in Utah, and Donovan Mitchell might be on his way out really, really soon here. He hasn't gotten better on the offensive side of the ball. He's still a catch and lob guy. No moves at all. My thing is, I don't like it being Rudy because I just think there's a lot more guys around the league that don't have bags or don't compete hard on the defensive side of the ball. I don't like Rudy Gobert being the punching bag because he really does play hard night in, night out. And I can go to war with playing hard. It's the other things that I can't go to war with, like just caring about your points, like don't play defense at all. Those are the things that make me mad. But, I mean, look, these athletes, T-Mac's got the authorization. What does Shaq call it? The G-class classification to say anything he wants about anybody. And it looks like Rudy Gobert is the guy that he looks at and thinks, what are you doing in your workouts? Let me know if you think the same thing. Tracy Mcgrady calls out Minnesota Timberwolf Rudy Gobert for not improving his game, questioning his offseason workouts.